This claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, does it matter if this leaks?
It don't matter to me. Can't see it from my house.
Illegal use of hands, improper training.
GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com has 14 different highly skilled trades with tuition free training in our certified apprenticeship programs to train you the right way. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Keeping It Real with Najeh Wilkins. I'm your host. Excited to kick off this girls' show today. We are going to be joined by Maynard Jackson girls head basketball coach. Can't wait to talk to him just a little bit about his team. They had a great year this year. It finished 29-1 and captured their first state title in program history. So I cannot wait to talk about that. Then we'll get into, obviously, the big-time lacrosse matchups, talk about some of the state standout players in the state championship, and then look ahead a little bit to some of the top headlines and close with Najeh's top 5. But without further ado, let's bring on the head coach from Maynard Jackson. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. I appreciate you coming on. How's everything?
Oh, everything goes well. Everything, we're enjoying the moment and getting to go around. You know how it goes.
Yes, sir. I already know. I captured a few of my day on the youth level, though. On the youth level and a little bit of AAU. So I know, man, it's a lot of fun. But Coach, you guys beat the same team 4 times. So talk just a little bit about that. That's not easy to do, to achieve that kind of success against a team. Just talk a little bit of how surreal the moment it was capturing that first title and then beating the team that you are very familiar with.
I first want to start out by saying a little over at Midtown, done with that Midtown team. Looking back, I've been at Maynard Jackson for the last 5 years, and we've traditionally have had some pretty good success against Midtown. But what he's been able to do probably within the last 2 years really made that this game very special, made it very difficult to prepare for because he does such a wonderful job in terms of preparation with that team. So it was not an easy task, but I think that the experiences that we've had prior to ever since this seniors class, their freshman year, we just had a lot of experience on our side, and that shows itself in situations where you really need it to show itself. We've had some tough games these last 4 years, and I'm just happy for this senior class to be able to tie it off with a state championship. They deserve it.
No doubt about it, Coach. And you say you've been with the program for 5 years, so talk a little bit about kind of, implementing your principles in there, Coach. You said it was a, tough couple of 4 years, but what were some of those things when you came in, Coach, you implemented with this team and being able to see the fruits of your labor kind of with the championship? What were some things early on that you had established with this team to get it where it is today?
Well, let me start by saying this team traditionally, Maynard Jackson has had talent at this team. I don't want to make it sound like this was, the team traditionally had talented ball players. One of the things that I really tried to implement was the discipline to go along with the talent. Talent really wasn't an issue. We've always had girls who were pretty good athletes, who can run, who can jump. But in those critical moments, there were times when we weren't the most disciplined. And so coming in, I was trying to match the discipline with the talent. And that was my number one goal coming in. And there were some other things. Like I said, we committed to becoming a year-round program. And that's not always an easy thing to do. But we made the commitment to doing it. We made the commitment to increase our strength and conditioning. And those were things that I also felt would show themselves later on in the year. We lifted weights and we lifted all the way through. So, I mean, in this tough spots, a lot of times the girls remember some of those games that required us to have a little bit more discipline and just, experience. Experience, there's no way to make up for experience. And we were able to bring it home.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then, I want to ask you, I know you came up with this group, but when did you kind of know, like, this group would be special? I know you got some sophomores that were playing for you, some juniors, some seniors, a little bit of mix of everything, but when did you know that this could kind of culminate and kind of be a special year for you guys?
Last summer. Like I said, in committing to that year-round process, we played some of the best teams in Georgia, and not just in Georgia, even in Alabama. If you look at our record, we played Sparkman and Hazel Green. I think their one team was nationally ranked, and the other team was a state champion. And we played them, and not just competed. I think we went 1 out of 2. And I knew then, going into the summer, that we had the potential. I mean, last year's team was 27-2. I knew coming back in that we had a chance to duplicate the success that we had prior to when we lost in the Final Four. So my focus really was on just trying to get these girls the experience of playing really good, tough teams that would in turn prepare us for whoever we met in the Final Four. Just, and the goal really wasn't to necessarily win the state. We kind of took it one step at a time. I told them, let's focus on winning the region. Our region was a very tough region. At the beginning of the year, we had 3 teams in our region in the top 10 in our class. That's not a normal occurrence to me. I think Creekside, Midtown, and ourselves. So we knew going into the season that there were going to be, 3 good teams. And the summer was our opportunity to prepare for that schedule. So we played some really tough teams.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then if you can share, just like in the summer, kind of how does that look? Is that kind of just, Maynard Jackson going, or you guys on the AAU circuit? Like, kind of just describe what the summer circuit, because you said you guys played in Alabama. What was that summer circuit kind of like for you guys?
Let's see. We started out going to Alabama A&M, and we played about 3 or 4 games just in one day. I would say the month of June, which is high school month for us, the month of June, we played approximately maybe 25 games. And that's just in the month of June by itself. So during a lot of those stretches, we were probably playing 2 to 3 games a day, 4 days in a row. And practicing on top of that. So that was the process that we committed to playing. We started out at Alabama A&M. We ended up going over to West Georgia and playing maybe 7 or 8 games. Then we, the open period for Georgia out in Sewanee, we played 3 or 4 games, in Clayton State. I mean, everywhere you could be, that's where we were. And we walked out with about maybe 25 games, and I think we may have lost maybe 1 or 2 of those games. But after the open period, We played a lot of teams that were either in the Final Four or, as a matter of fact, I think we played the team that we played in the Elite Eight or Final Four the following year, Dalton High School. So we played a lot of games. That's the only way to put it.
No doubt about it.
And then a lot of the girls do play AAU. I think a lot of our girls, some of them play with the Atlanta Celtics with Coach Nard, and so, but that's usually in July. I usually give them July off, and then we pick it right back up when school starts.
Got you. And then, Coach, I want to ask you a little bit about some of your players. I want to start with Talia Cornish. I mean, she's had a really great season this year, averaged about 15 points per game. She's big in the championship game and, ended up winning it. And then it was her birthday also subsequently. So just, talk about her play, what you got to see from her this past season, and how excited you are, I think, to have her back.
Talia was one of the seniors that came in as a true 8th grader and had to start right away. The majority of the seniors came in as 9th graders playing, Talia being one of them. And it was a process for her, learning how to manage a ball game, how to manage goals and expectations, how to, she's a natural scorer. She loves to score the ball, but learning how to manage scoring the ball with getting everybody else involved. Those experiences were necessary for her because sometimes you don't get all that. So she has been a huge part of the success of this program for us. And I couldn't be happier for somebody.
No doubt about it, Coach.
Yeah, she was one of the reasons that we ended up going down to West Georgia. I was going to give her every opportunity to get seen by every coach we could find.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then talk a little bit about Shakira Gresham. She averaged 11.7 points this past year. Shot it very efficient in the paint. Just talk about her impact on both ends of the floor.
Shakira Gresham, again, another senior who had to come in as a 9th grader and play. And again, I say we lost in the Sweet 16 with this group of girls as true 9th graders. So she's been with us the whole 9 yards, and she is another one that is a glue piece for this team. I've asked her to sometimes play out of position. She didn't always like it. She didn't always like it. She sees herself as a true wing, and I do too. But in order for this team to be successful, we have to take advantage of some of the other things that she's capable of doing. And I mean, she can do it all. The biggest part is the rebounding. When you watch her go rebound and attack the ball and just she's a pillar in the paint. And she's a big part for this team's success. And I just couldn't be happier for her. She's our glue piece. I call it that.
Love to see that, Coach. And then the last one I want to talk about was Kennedy Cooper coming in. What have you seen from her in terms of her growth coming in early, and then where she is today, just in terms of growth throughout the season?
I watched Kennedy is another one that came up through our middle school program. So I got to see Kennedy as a 6th, 7th, and 8th grader, and she's always been one of the more talented kids on the floor. Talent was never the issue for Kennedy Cooper. She's always had a talent. Her mother and coaches did a wonderful job with her. She ended up not necessarily coming to Maynard Jackson as a 9th grader. I think she went to Pace Academy in another school, and she was the one that just came back home. She grew up with a lot of these girls playing, and she was a detriment piece to our year-round process because she was playing high school basketball as a sixth and seventh grader, and I knew then that she she was she was playing well as a sixth and seventh grader. So I knew that she would be. It was only a matter of time before. One of the things that I really spent a lot of time with her on is just being able to put the discipline with the talent. She has the talent. It was just a matter of getting her to be a disciplined guard and be able to handle tough situations. And I just can't say enough good things about her. She was a huge piece to the puzzle this year.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then I just want you to share a little bit about some of your seniors we didn't mention or some that we did. Just talk a little bit about them, where some places your girls are going to be signing, going on to play on the next level.
I have a young lady that was really special, and I wish I could talk about all the seniors. Maya Spencer. She didn't play a lot, and neither did Ashley. Both players, again, glue pieces. They show up every day to practice, and they really, really, really set the tone for this year with their effort. And all of my seniors were instrumental. Some of them were coming off of injuries, and to see them be able to come back off of ACL injuries, and some of them had shoulder injuries, and to see the fight and the commitment day in and day out was really special. And I just can't say enough good things about them.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it, Coach. And then if you had to say just, some of your other players as well, I know you talked about your glue guys, but who were some underrated players that also stepped up, whether it was, being a locker room person or, just doing the dirty work? Who were some of those players that stepped up big also this season?
I'm going to throw a name out. Her name is Aaliyah Weaver. She has a sister on the team, Najeh Weaver. And both girls, again, glue pieces. I think when I inserted, Aaliyah was a starter and ended up tearing her ACL in her freshman year. So she missed most of her sophomore year. She came back towards the very end, but was still trying to get herself together. But she was another glue piece. She could defend. I call her the junkyard dog. Whoever I say, don't let her score. You don't score after that. And you really couldn't prepare. I knew Midtown hadn't seen her the first two or three times we played because she was still kind of nursing some injuries. But I'm happy that she came and turned it loose in that state championship game because she was one of the ones who, again, she's been here she came out our feeder program. She's been here 3 years, and one of those years, again, like I said, we lost her as a freshman just due to ACL injury. But to see her come back, knowing what she's capable of doing, and as well as her sister, Najeh Weaver, I think she's the tallest one on our team. She goes about 6'3", 6'4", but she's tremendously talented. She's tall and plays the wing for us, but the reality of it is the unselfishness allows them to play wherever their coaches asked them to go play. And that's what made this team special, was the sacrifices that each individual had to make. We had some post players that British McKinney, again, having to share time with two other post players. But it also allowed us to be able to get to play 10 to 12 people. And you probably saw that it played itself out in the state championship game because, once again, being able to play Journey, British, uh, together with the third post player, we were able to just wear people out, and we've been wearing people out all year with that three post combo. So, you know, we were blessed this year.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then one unit I wanted to talk about was your defense, right? It was stellar all season. You talked about having, great defenders, right? Being able to go guard the other team's best, scores and things like that. But what do you think made this defense so elite this year and being able to kind of stop teams and kind of make them feel uncomfortable?
We just, again, during the summer, we had to commit to it. They say summer is when you make basketball players, and we played man to man the entire summer, full court, bumper to bumper, man to man. Win, lose, or draw, I was determined that we would be a good man to man team, that we would have confidence being able to play man to man against whoever we played, and that was our commitment. And we all summer we did it. I mean, it didn't matter who we played. Whether they were bigger, smaller, faster, we committed to playing man to man. And I think it showed itself to be valuable. Because even when we changed paces, we knew that we could play some zone in places, but at the end of the day, we're going to hang our hats on being able to guard you and being able to guard you 4 quarters. Mm-hmm. And it starts with what you do in the summer. I mean, we committed to really just getting out and working on that man to man and just having confidence that you can guard people. I kind of knew that defense would travel. You're not always going to be able to make shots. And again, that's a lesson that sometimes young players have to learn the hard way. And we had to learn it the hard way. We struggled last year in the Final Four. We couldn't buy a 3. But we didn't know how to deal with, I'm not making a shot right now. What are some other things that I can do to contribute to winning? And from a maturity standpoint, that showed itself. Learning how to contribute to a victory without necessarily having to score 20 points or make a whole bunch of 3-pointers. I don't think we made but one in the state championship game. But the defense is what carried us. But if you look at some of the other games, I mean, I guess Union Grove would probably be thinking, why couldn't they miss when we played? When we played Union Grove, and we made 14 3-pointers. So you just never know.
It's a good point, Coach.
We're capable of making them.
No, exactly. I mean, no, that's a good point. I mean, a lot of times I think players get so infatuated with just wanting to score. You got to have, the kind of full quartet of, skills, being able to defend, being able to get loose balls, being able to play make. Like, you can't just be scoring because, like you said, sometimes your shot not going to be falling. How can you affect the game? I think that's really profound. And then, Coach, I want to ask about this upcoming season. I know, obviously, you guys just won, but, you graduated, I believe, 7 seniors. Kind of who are some of those young girls you're going to be depending on next year when you go in those summer runs out to, different parts of the state, possibly even interstate lines? Who's some young girls coming up that we should watch for Maynard Jackson?
I would tell you Kennedy Cooper is one to watch. I think she's on my short list for Region Player of the Year. Again, I have the Weaver sisters, Aaliyah and Janiyah. Both of them have, starting background. And Talia has a younger sister. We call her Tiny. She'll be returning. So we have at least 4 or 5 young ladies who, at one time or another, has started this year. So it's very possible that we could be right back where we are this year, next year. We have the pieces. Journey was one of our posts that were in the rotation. She had a stellar year. Playing a lot of players allows you to give everybody a certain amount of experience. So next year's team won't be far off of this year's team. The majority of the girls started at least 4 or 5 games apiece, so it's possible.
No doubt about
And
it,
then you
Coach.
never know you get doing something.
Yes, sir. Well, two more, Coach. I'll let you get out of here. One I want to ask, what do you hope your girls kind of took from this run, right? Going through, back to the summer thing, being able to go through that kind of experience, going through a tough region schedule, being the battle in the playoffs, and winning it all. What do you hope your girls gained the most from this past season?
I hope that they learned how to. We spent a lot of time talking about setting goals, learning what to take, and that they can appreciate that it takes to just want to morning and just jump out of bed and just don't enjoy this. And learning how to play, I complained so much that who you really are. That's the person that you really are. You can mask game, but who you are in practice, you really are. And practice and learning how to be a good teammate, learning how to work with frustration, learning how to be coachable. I can tell you that that's probably when you haven't yourself enough to be taking action. Sometimes that, but I was looking at this team saying the experience.
Doubt about it, Coach. And then last one, the high school level, but even on a collegiate level, I mean, you got superstars like Clayton Clark, Angel Reese, Juju Watkins, Paige Bookers. They can go on and on. But how excited are you to kind of see, where the game is kind of going and the excitement that it has around it, not on just the high school level, but also in the collegiate level?
It's funny because I really, with the advent opportunity transfer, whatever you can do in college, coaches, we know what we do from, and some of that we see the energy, passion that they're playing with. But part of me that also is concerned about stick-to-itiveness. And probably where you get it because you just don't have to high school kid anymore. You can go get an entire team out the recruitment bank. Now you really are working against kids who already got 2 or 3 years of college. You're fighting against kids who got 2 years of JUCO experience. And so it's putting more of an emphasis on us as high school coaches to try to get high school kids prepared to play at the college level, because in some ways, I mean, it's tough now because kids aren't staying in schools for 3 and 4 years. Kids are leaving now and they're transferring, and you start to see that even in the high school game. Sometimes you can have a kid that's been to 4 high schools in 3 years. You're starting to see the same trends that you see in the college game, minus NIL deals. That's the only thing. But we get a large sample of what you see in college. From you used to watch a college game and pick up a play or two or something that you can use. But that's and that's still the same. But I'd like to see more consistent in terms of in a team. I get all of the pros and cons that go with it, but getting that college degree is the big thing. I'm preaching, ladies, that nothing but maybe I would probably lose a state championship if I did all my biggest sign and go to college, opportunity to better their life through the college education and the college process. Not everybody is going to go to the WNBA or go overseas for that matter, but everybody has an opportunity to make a life. One of the blessings that I have as a teacher and as a coach, I've been is having my former player come back and pull somebody else up along the way to bring them to that. I can't tell you how big that is, but just having the opportunity to do that, I've been blessed. I've been blessed.
No doubt about it, Coach. Well, I want to say congrats on winning the first ever state championship in Maynard Jackson's history. Really appreciate you coming on and talk a little bit about your Lady Jaguars and a little bit about your team. Can't wait to watch you guys next year, Coach. And wish you nothing but success, love and success on the journey. And good luck to you guys next season.